Peace, family. How you all doing? My name is Keisha. I am the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing the full moon in Gemini happening on the 7th or the 8th, depending on wherever you're at in the world. Let me get my notes up here because y'all know. Without my notes, y'all listen. It's a mess. Right. So I did really have a hard time with this, you guys. Maybe it's because Mars and Gemini be playing games with my brain. Ooh, I don't know about anybody else, but mostly all the mutable signs probably the mental ain't right because that retrograde in Mars is like um but we're gonna make it do what it do. So I think the signs this full moon in particular are going to affect the most are Aries, obviously Gemini and Scorpio, because Mars is the ancient ruler to Scorpio. Virgo could get it too because it's ruled by Mercury, but those are the ones that I chose that I think are going to be affected the most. Now, the moon is ruled by Cancer. So this is going to be a lot of emotional reactions. There can be a lot of talking and expressing our emotions. And there could be like a lot of movement and action within your home and family life, specifically with your parents, because the moon rules your mom. Um, or again, it could just be a lot of things going on with family because even Gemini rules your siblings, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews. And with Sagittarius being on the opposite end, these are your in-laws and your husband typically in the astrology. So this is big family energy going on here. So if you have any unresolved issues with family members, rest assured this full moon is going to bring it out. So be ready to listen and then speak your piece. That's the best route to go because if you're the one who's kind of projecting the lower vibrations of the Mars energy, you're going to lose. Mars is in retrograde. That means it's against you. It's against the lower vibrational energies. Um, Even if you're like driving and you got some road rage or somebody else does, this is not the time to give somebody the finger or stop and play games and be on the road acting crazy. You are going to lose, okay? If you have any legal issues with that Sagittarius, would it be in Sagittarius season and Sagittarius sun being in opposition? This is not the time to put out new legal legal things, cases against anyone. You will lose, okay? Um, but if it's something from the past, this would be a great time to do it. Anything that's focused on the past will be supported. If this is anything new and you're in the lower vibrations of Mars, this is not the time to do it. It's just not. This could also be super internal because Mars is retrograde. So be careful for the negative self-talk, not believing in yourself, not supporting yourself and being really hard on yourself. Geminis are amazing at doing that. So just be careful. Don't beat yourself up here. Um, Try to look into doing some like positive affirmations or something like that. It'll be very beneficial for you at this time. And any kind of breath work, meditation, walking, running, maybe even going for a short trip, driving somewhere can be like heaven right now. Anything that soothes you or calms you down, and that's kind of action oriented, but in a healthy, positive way, can be very, very, very beneficial for your anger issues. um, yeah. Try writing your frustrations out if you are having any kind of aggression that you feel like you want to give off to somebody. It would be a really great time now to write a letter, send an email or a text, because you know you have to stop and think when you're doing all that stuff. You got to read it through to make sure you're saying exactly what it is you want to say, which is good. Because just blurting stuff out or not thinking things through can really, really get you in some hot water right now. Especially again, if these are things from the past, which I can almost guarantee they're gonna come up. Because Sagittarius is like a I'm gonna meet you where you at kind of energy. Sagittarius, if you want to get low, we can get low. Okay, Sagittarius ain't scared. And Mars is already fucking pissed off. And so you add Gemini to the thing. This is gossip. It's just messy. Okay. It's a lot of chatter going. There's a lot of stuff that people done said down the line that has turned into a completely different story now. It's information overload, y'all. And with Neptune having had them squares and Neptunes and those mutable squares all the beginning of these first 2 weeks of December, I'm telling you right now, there's a level of something not being true, something not being seen for what it is. A lot of misunderstandings, miscommunication, a lack of people taking responsibility for what they say. Good Lord, I don't have the time, y'all. Okay, I'm not. There's a lot of those types of lower vibrational things happening when you have squares. And it also amplifies that Mars energy, because a square kind of acts like a Mars type energy where you're going to want to take action. It's going to be emotional because it's the moon. It's going to be verbal or anything Gemini-esque. And it's going to be in the form of Sagittarian like energy. That's big. Okay. So just be mindful. Be mindful. Then you have the sun in Sagittarius. This is highlighting where all the action is. So you want to look at your Sagittarius area of life. That's most likely where this energy could be showing up. Um, you can feel rushed and you may not be ready for something right now, especially with the retrogrades. The retrogrades, again, they tend to really slow us down and make us really think things through. But Mars and Sagittarius are fire signs. They want, let's go. Okay. And Gemini is like the child who sees something that they're super attracted to and curious about, and they're like, ooh, like a kid in a candy store, like, let's go, let's do it. But it just might not be time. And so if you're again experience any of the lower vibrations like headaches, sleepiness, frustration, anger, annoyed, irritated, um, if you're expressing anything that you're going towards, if you're second guessing, if it keeps coming up in your mind, if it does not make you feel happy, it ain't for you. Or it's just not time. I'm not gonna say it ain't for you, because the wonderful, beautiful thing about this time is mutable energy is all about change and being flexible and switching on a whim because of some new data or information that's coming in. Um, and so your mind's going to change quite frequently with whatever information you're being subjected to, introduced to, given, and things of that nature. So I wouldn't say don't switch. Do your research. If you're being introduced to something and you're like a kid in a candy store and you're like, ooh, what's that? Do your research. And if it fits into or if it's relevant to what's going to help you grow and move forward and is moving you towards your future goals, go for it. Once you do your research and you feel like you're not so sure, set it aside. I wouldn't throw it away completely because come the end of December, we're going to be in Capricorn season, and that's when you really get truth and answers. Also, Jupiter is going to move back into Aries, which is going to give you more clarity, truth, and answers. Okay. Um, okay. So, um, on the opposite end of this, again, this could be very positive, motivating us to like change our emotions and just meaning being upbeat, happy, um, and childlike, you know. Gemini rules choices, decisions, what we're thinking about, how we're perceiving things, and duality, which again is going to bring up two choices, two paths, two ideas, and two directions. And because Jupiter is the husband and Jupiter ruling Sagittarius, by the way, if you don't know, he's the husband in the astrology, and most people don't talk about Gemini from this aspect. But anytime you have an opposition between Sun and Moon, we're talking about male and female energies, which is about relationships. Um, and so Gemini is the soulmates of the astrology. You know, this is your soulmate energy, um, uh, or your twin soul energy. You know, most people don't really accept Gemini for that, which in tarot is exactly what that card stands for. It's still mind-boggling to me how people dismiss that, but you know, it's what it is today. Okay. Um, and so you might have a decision to make around this time when it comes to love. And you could have quite a few people showing up in this kind of reflection that make you feel like home, safe. You're mirroring one another. Be mindful, okay? Because there are other things taking place here, especially with those Neptune squares. You can come off seeming too good to, some people can come off seeming too good to be true. Um, and um, just overall bubbly, you know, like fulfilling they check all your boxes, you know. But I would just, you know, be mindful. This isn't like, you know, typically this isn't like relationship energy for the most part. Neither is Capricorn, but again, every sign has their relationship aspects, if you will. I just think that Capricorn's a better energy to be making definitive decisions around your relationships, depending on where you are with that when it comes to romance. That's just my personal opinion, but you know, especially if you have this if you're having this full moon in the relationships houses, which is the 5th and the 7th, eighth too, depends. But yeah. So be mindful of that. I will have horoscopes for all 12 signs that I'll be posting on the 7th on my IG page. So make sure you're following us there to get more information. So this full moon is going to bring choices to light, more information to an ongoing story. You definitely want to go back 6 months to look at the new moon because something from that new moon is culminating here. And so you're either sifting through information, taking things out, seeing what still fits and what doesn't, um, just to make sure you're on the right path. Um, Gemini is very versatile, which can confuse people. It rules the mind, the ability to go between the left and the right brain. It's tied to education and learning. So, skills and talents or vocation here could be coming up strong. Even childhood education. I think we're going to see a lot of things globally around education in general because Gemini and Sagittarius is the education axis. Especially with Mars in retrograde here, and then the Neptune squares, somebody's gotten sick, right? And so we're still kind of in this energy of like, do we stay going to school in person? Do we switch it up? Online half, online, in person half. How is that structure going to be with everybody getting sick and more news and information coming out about sickness and how that's going to affect us moving forward. Um, it'll be interesting to see over the next 6 months with Jupiter and Aries, and then Jupiter moving into Taurus in May, to see how this is all going to play out. So, that'll be interesting. We can see debates again around education, travel, um, philosophy, language, our beliefs, morals, ethics, culture, um, and our worldview. We can hear a lot more about the war, um, anything to do with legal documents when it comes to people, how that process works from people coming outside of the country, borders, because Neptune rules oil and pharmaceuticals. So again, in other countries, there's a lot of protests. That's the Mars and Gemini getting fired up here. We can start to see, and Gemini also rules news and information, data. And so we can hear more, get more pieces to the story about what's going on in other countries. I think China's got a lot going on, and obviously, like I said, the war. I'm not too privy to anything else. I just don't watch the news, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot more than that. When it comes to protests and people fighting for their morals and ethics with Jupiter playing out here. I can see this being a huge storylines as something coming out. As far as like here in America, this could be about we can start to see more restrictions around what you can post, what you can say, your speech, because it's Gemini we're talking about. And we can start to see more restrictions around, what those things are. Um, um, yeah. And then Mars and Gemini and the Gemini moon can bring up some heated conversations, especially things from the past. We had some time for that energy to bubble up, just sitting there being angry, like somebody said something they wasn't supposed to, uh, uh, made somebody, get in their feelings or whatever, especially around relationships, they got cut off. They severed something, or there was a fight, or a release, um, of emotions in some way, shape, form. It could have come up in multiple different ways. Well, all this time people had to sit down thinking about that now is really bubbling up, especially if you said something you didn't mean, you didn't think it through first. Somebody coming back to try to rectify a situation, especially once Mercury moves into Capricorn, and it goes shadow. So it'll go shadow on December 12th, but it doesn't actually go retrograde until like the 28th or the 29th or something like that. This ought to be a very interesting year. I mean, it was the same last year. Both Venus and Mercury were in Capricorn and retrograde for New Year's. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see. I'll be talking more about that too, by the way. Um, This could also be again siblings, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, and neighbors. Um, mm, there could be arguments. Now, with neighbors, it doesn't mean that you actually have to be arguing with your neighbors unless there's like noise disturbances or fights or crashes. And there could be all kinds of violence and stuff like that. You could be hearing it. It could come up as a disturbance. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. Um, when it comes to neighbors, but family, again, anything that's been kind of festering for a while and somebody might want to apologize or retract what they said. There's gonna there's energy there for these conversations to resurface. Um, ooh, um, yeah. This could also be like gadgets, apps, computers, cell phones, social media, cars, transportation, documents, license, communication, texts, and emails, um, coming up for review, or you could be in a meeting and you're just like not really paying attention. You could be in the midst of a conversation and not be paying attention. And that can start an argument. That's why I said in the beginning, listen, then respond. Um, because people are already on edge. Whatever it is that's coming up now is not something new. It's been festering. And anytime you have energy like this, the mutable squares, the Neptune squaring Mars, coming off of a Scorpio and Taurus eclipse axis, it's just been building up. And when the moon comes, it's going to be like burst of energy. You might not even know you mad right now until that full moon come. Like, "Bitch, I had some shit to say about Sharon Sun." It's gonna be hilarious. I'm sorry. It's not funny. It's not funny, but yeah, just pay attention. But you could receive these kinds of messages. It could be that you're having car issues. People could be coming for you on social media, phone calls off the wall, busy. It doesn't just have to be drama. Sagittarius energy, Gemini energy is it's like a whirlwind upward. I mean, it's good, it's upbeat, it's still happy energy. Gemini and Sagittarius opposition is the only opposition in the astrology between all oppositions that's still happy. Um, but with all the other things playing in effect, like the retrograde, the Mars retrograde and the Neptune and the squares is like la la land. It's like, yeah, I'm just like living in my own world. And you just might not be able to hold focus. It really just depends. You might have a lot on your mind. Write stuff down, make lists, plan, to help take off so you can focus on the things that are right in front of you. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, you're gonna piss somebody off. Okay. This could be your children too. Not that you need any of this energy for your child to be acting up. It's just what they do. Okay. And they're like professionals at that shit too. So don't beat the babies. Okay. Try to be flexible, be open to change, know that things are going to be scattered. You might feel a little detached. And people are just going to be super intellectual. Like they're going to want to talk about their feelings. Like it's just going to be a thing. It has the ability Gemini has the ability to be social, but also go your own way once things are like over. That's the best thing about this is that they're not dwellers. So it's not going to be like pressure, but just be mindful. This could be back and forth communication with email chains and information overload, especially with the news. Be careful for fake news with them Neptune squares. They trying to get you riled up in your feelings because they doing some other shit in the background that they don't want nobody to know about, like passing laws and shit, knowing damn well ain't nobody voted for that shit, but this is what your country does. um we can hear more about house fires, crashes, even cars getting on fire, road delays, again, threats of war and weapons at this time. It could also be about desire and being very sexual, which would, I mean, if you are on the upside of this shit, and you living your best life, partying, just hanging out, being social, networking, connecting with others, and having business meetings and great conversations, think tanks, throwing around ideas. Um, and you got somebody who you can connect with on whatever level y'all on. It don't have to be sexual, but it leads to great sex. I'm jealous. That's all I'm Cause this shit right here, this energy right here, have you smiling motherfucker afterward. You're gonna be like, bitch, guess what I did last night? No, so let me stop. Don't be gossiping about your sex life, y'all. Oh my God, watch for being defensive with the retrogrades. Again, I talked about that. You know, somebody wants to apologize. Somebody said something they ain't had no business and they want to retract the statements. I plead the fifth. This can be like wanting to have conversations but biting your tongue. Again, changing your mind. You start a text, delete it, start it back up. You don't really know what you want to say. Write it out first, and sit on it for a minute until it feels right to you. That literally, this is what's been happening with me writing for this full moon. If I told y'all how long I had all the information I'm speaking about right now and still didn't do this video because it just didn't, I felt like it wasn't popping in my mind, but I think it's just in my mind. I don't think it's really real. This is good stuff, but whatever. It's the damn retrogrades. Even with the Jupiter and Taurus video I want to do, like, pretty sure the information that I wrote down is superb. Here's the thing, I don't feel that way, so I don't want to do it. I'm sitting on it like, maybe I can do something better, or change something, or get something more. I'm tripping, y'all. I'm tripping. But yeah. Remember that holding on to your anger can cause health issues. Remember, those Neptune squares can also be health stuff, mental health stuff, um, and escapism. So make sure that you're not like like if you're gonna decide not to put something out or not to write something or not say something, make sure you're not escaping or falling into like a depression, and letting that shit affect you to the point where, yeah, again, this is negative self-talk, kind of beating yourself up, trying to find the right words and things of that nature. If it's getting to that point, or you're smoking, or it's making you want to smoke, drink, or just sit and watch TV all day, these are like classic Neptune escape tactics to procrastinate. Okay, they're healthy in bits, but when you're not getting it done and it's like that's something you were supposed to do a month ago, okay, well, now you should probably address that, right? um this could also, on the opposite end of that, be really good vices to help with your anger when it comes to movement. So this is Neptune and Mars is like martial arts, movement of the body, again, breath work, yoga, exercising, walking, running, um even like hot baths, or spa days, a retreat, treating yourself. Um, yeah, I feel like they could probably be more. Um, those are the ones that are like sticking out to me the most. These could be vices that are super helpful to help you release some pressure, and just let go, take your mind off of something enough to, because if you're holding all that stuff in and you're not releasing, with Gemini, it could cause throat problems, um, or Neptune, it's health issues, respiratory. That's the word I wanted to use. Gemini can be respiratory. It can literally like make you out of breath, you know. Um, inflammation, you want to check your liver if you're super angry and you can't really, what can you do to cleanse your liver? I think it's oh my God, what is it that you can take for the liver? It's gonna drive me crazy, y'all. You can Google it though, and something will come up. I can't remember the name of it, but it could be hot burn with the Mars energy, the fire energy. Or again, it's just the overthinking over and over and over and over and over again. Just be mindful of those things. Um, yeah, so you want to make sure you're actively listening, not waiting to respond. Be careful for being distracted, especially while you're driving. This is not the time to be driving and being on your phone. Um, talking and not taking any action. Um, scrolling on social media, skimming over details and missing stuff. Um, don't jump to conclusions, ask questions, and again, find an outlet. And then if you're having any issues around car stuff, you got car issues, don't dwell, do what you can. If you can get it fixed, go get it fixed. And you still got to go to work, get on public transportation, take an Uber, find another way. Um, yeah. If you don't like a platform because it's not letting you post something, find another platform. Um, and change how you talk to people or think about it or work on it. If somebody does come to you with something, take this opportunity to really choose your words, okay? Um, and so this also activates the higher mind because Sun is in Sagittarius, which is about learning what you're understanding. So not just learning, but also knowing how to implement it, believing in who you are, and knowing how our experiences shape our world's view and how your thoughts create your life path. Um, I talked about that in my other video that I did in Gemini, and 6 months ago. But the another story that I can tell about this, because I know most people think Kanye is crazy, and for the most part, he is. He's certifiable. However, he's not dumb. And when you understand Gemini energy and you understand how to manipulate um, information, perceptions, um, what people see, um, this is a skill, okay? And he's being very brave right now with the whole Valenciaga thing. I think right now people think that he's supporting Valenciaga, but actually, if you look closer and really pay attention, he's um he's making them less important by over sharing. So people's gonna go to it and see it. Balenciaga is the devil, y'all. Literally, they worship the devil. Okay, these people need to be exposed. And so you gotta understand that what you see at first glance is not always the safest choice to take. This is also very like childlike energy. Your children are masters at this. Not really, but they are masters at sitting in your face telling you, I'm gonna do this and that, and they think we don't really know or that we not gonna find out the truth. This is classic childlike energy. And if you're only looking at it from one perspective and you're not seeing it um critically, then yeah, absolutely. Your children can show up as liars when actually there was just forfeiting the truth to get what they wanted. They thought they could make you see one thing so they can do what they wanted to do on the other end. Kanye is not any different. And I try to stay away from this idea that one or the other have to be true. But when you understand the universe, everything is all in all. We are one with everything. It's that whole storyline of the hole in the wall and the wall on the grass and the green grass grows all around and around the green. You know, we're not separated from it. So if you see something one way, you're right. But it's also if somebody else is bringing up the point that I'm bringing up, it's also that way too. Classic Gemini shit. And this is why people don't like Geminis, or that they think that we're always playing games or mind games or we're tricky or what the words y'all use to describe us. Oh, two-faced. I think that's the one it is. Well, it depends on how you're looking at it, right? Because there's always more than one side to the story, and you have to look deeper. You cannot judge people by the cover. You can't look at information from just what's being given to you. This is critical thinking. This is challenging you to think outside the box, go deeper, and this is how you get esoteric knowledge and metaphysics, and how you get so many different points of views. And it could get messy if we're being honest. But it's really about where you're at that time, how much have you grown at that time, um, and all those types of things there, because all storylines are true, just period. I hate to be the one to break it to you. There are no right or wrong answers depending on where you are, your growth, where you're trying to elevate to, and what you're meant to learn at that time. If you're seeing it one way and that's the only way you can see it, you're not ready for something else. For the people who've been through some other stuff and they're like, nah, that's not what it is. It's this. They've been through some stuff enough to know is more than one way to skin a cat, right? Yeah. Um, but ultimately, what I'm saying is be mindful about what you choose. There is no right or wrong answer, but you really want to take that retrograde energy to slowly do your research, look deeper underneath the surface when it comes to building your future and what it is you're trying to create in your life, because you are the narrator of that. And the more you understand what it is you're looking at and what it is you want and getting clear on that, the better choices you can make to create the life that you want. And how you want to do that. So that's my whole spiel on that. And then Mars is exactly conjunct this full moon. Um, and these are real thoughts. Your real thoughts come out. So be mindful of what it is you're thinking, saying, writing, creating. because other people are learning, experiencing through you. Um, again, just like a child learns through observation, and we all learn through each other in that same way. We are this is why I always say it's important to make sure that you're only following people that you like, that are in like doing something that you want to reach at some point. Um, because what you take in, even if you think you're really strong, you know the difference or whatever. And sometimes it's really good to look at all sides and not just what you want, because you have to know your enemy, you have to know your opposition, you need to know where you need to be strong at and all those things there, right? But essentially, the more you're seeing the things that are going to help you get to the place where you want, then that's obviously what you're going to build and create, right? Yeah, I would think back to September 16th to the 23rd. What was going on for you? Because Mars was at that same degree, which is 16 degrees family, at this time. So there can be a lot of, again, going back to conversations, old intense ideas, old intense feelings being exchanged. Um, Mars is not moving right now. I just need to make that very clear. This can make you frustrated. Um, review your choices, your decisions, look at what you've already invested in order to reconsider if there's anything that you need to change. So again, this could cause changes in choices or information that comes in that alters what you want and the direction that you're going in. And then Mercury is going to move into Capricorn, I think on the 6th. If it's not today, it's tomorrow, requiring more critical thinking before you speak. What conversations are worth having? Is the information helpful? And is it leading us forward? It can be a lot of details, informations, plans, especially with the holidays, if that's something that you're into. But if it's not the holidays, this is all about business. If you got any kind of business deals going on and you want to have important conversations, meetings, discussions, think tanks, Mercury in Capricorn is phenomenal for this type of stuff. You're also going to be a lot more frugal and mindful of what you spend your money on at this time, which is great for the holidays, especially during Sagittarius season, because again, Sagittarius tends to overdo stuff, overspend, overeat, over party, just happy people, and who wouldn't want to indulge in happiness after all that damn energy we just came out of with those eclipses? I can see a lot of people like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it. I'll figure it out another time. But I think Mercury and Capricorn is really gonna like put a pause on that. Um, it's also going to be about commitment, maturity, reliability, timing, scheduling, structure. And we can hear a lot about government business, um, government budgeting. People might be getting laid off. I hate to say that, but it is the end of the year. Tax season is coming up, so numbers are end. Um, and we could see, unfortunately, a lot of businesses closing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about the fact that they're closing down. It could just be people are tapped like out this Mars and retrograde energy challenge. Listen, okay? Um, you might have to find another job. Or, on the opposite end of that, you're having strong communication about a raise, the money that you're getting, or you're thinking about this. Can I get more money? Can I get a better job? And you just might start searching for this type of information. So if those are things that you're looking for, I would use Mercury and Capricorn to do that because it's really going to help you focus and narrow in. And then Mercury will square Jupiter. So this is global. Um, Again, we can see a lot of hidden news and information coming out, a lot of emotional responses, especially if we're talking about religion, politics, and all that stuff can just, oh, Kanye and what's the redhead dude's name? Them two finna be acting a damn fool if they ain't already. I don't watch, so I don't know. Um, if we've had any feelings or dreams that weren't clear, we can get clarity on that with this Mercury square Jupiter. Um, there could be a lot of legislation changes. Um, we can hear more about people who have been isolated or hidden, again, when it comes to other countries and what's going on, or people who had to leave their country, cross borders or country like lines. We can hear a lot of stuff that if you're not already searching for this stuff, it could come out now. And then the only thing that's saving us really, besides the Mercury Capricorn is saving us. But aside from that, the only other thing that's helping us is Saturn in Aquarius trining this full moon, which is focus, determination, and committing to something with consistency. Again, especially because it's Saturn's the ruler of Capricorn, and you're losing a job, getting information that your people are getting laid off. Maybe you're going to have to put in more hours. Maybe you're not the one getting laid off, but due to shortages, you got to put in more hours. Capricorn's going to give you that to, get it. Show up as the person that you want, and maybe 6 months down the line, you can ask for a raise. It really just depends on where people are at with this, but yeah, I think overall, there's obviously a lot of things that we can be complaining about, and that might not be just, so happy. Um, but the truth is going to come out. And at the end of the day, that's what full moons do, is they bring up from the new moons all those lovely plans and ideas. What they do is bring out the inconsistencies in the new so that you can work on it to get more refined to that next new moon. And then, and it's just a cycle. So don't be so hard on yourself if you feel like you're changing your mind. This is the season for it. So let it be. Go with the flow. Don't fight it. It's going to be okay. You will figure it out when you're meant to. So, as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope that this information is helping you. If it is, like, share, subscribe. I cannot say that enough. We're trying to grow our platform and all that good stuff. If you find this helpful, tell somebody. Share it. Sharing is caring. I love and appreciate you. Peace.